Hello, I'm Stephanie Domet. I'm the managing editor at Mindful and Mindful.org, and I'm delighted to be hosting Elaine Smookler as part of the Healing Healthcare Summit. In this session, Elaine will lead us in some very real mindfulness practice in her trademark lighthearted way. This is an opportunity for you to access some healing, gaining some practices you can use throughout your day, no matter what your day offers, alongside some laughter. I want to let you know also that you can purchase lifetime access to all of our Healing Healthcare Summit content in a downloadable format by going to mindful.org/healthcare. And now I want to tell you that I have the great pleasure of working with Elaine as editor for her regular column in Mindful and on mindful.org called Inner Wisdom. Elaine brings together the insights of a deep mindfulness practice over the course of more than 20 years, a working background as a registered psychotherapist, and her clown training, yes, clown training, to everything she does. Elaine is on the faculty at the Center for Mindfulness Studies in Toronto, and I am just thrilled to introduce her to you. Please welcome to the Healthcare Summit, Elaine Smookler.
Thank you so very, very much. What a delight to be here. So I have a question. Friends, have you been feeling overwhelmed, underappreciated, exhausted? Let me guess. You work in healthcare, don't you? Yes, this has been a very interesting time for all of us. And today I'm hoping to share with you 7 mighty mini practices that will help you stay resilient during this time of overwhelm. I wanted to call this the how to keep smiling in the midst of an apocalypse, because we don't know for sure if things are going to get any better or any easier. And the intention of this workshop is not to be glib about how to be light, but how to bring in this important quartet of chemicals: endorphins, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, as a way for us to imbue ourselves with a little bit more space and peace and ease, especially when things are really difficult. So, yes, laughter is the best medicine, unless you're sick. In that case, actual medicine and healers are extremely helpful for us to be able to manage whatever it is that's going on. So, my dears, without further ado, I would like to begin to introduce you to 7 different mini practices that I think, mighty mini practices, that I hope will help you feel well when things are incredibly challenging. The first practice is called Stop, Breathe, and Connect. In the midst of a very busy day, the whole idea of being able to pause in any way at all might feel unimaginable. That's why these practices are all very pithy, and ways that even if you're just, all you have to do is time to move through one hospital room to another one, what can you do to help you restart? The notion of stopping is the intention to be able to allow yourself to just pause and be with what's here right now. Mostly we spend our time in our minds. In fact, mostly what we do is we spend our times in the past, the future, and a tiny little bit in the present. So no wonder we're all so exhausted. We're trying to live 3 lives all at once. In this stop, breathe, and connect practice, we can help ourselves land in the so-called present moment in just a moment. The intention here is particularly the connect part. And what is it we're connecting to? You might call it the felt sense of whatever thoughts, emotions, and the way the body is responding to this dance of whatever thoughts and emotions are. The intention and the way that the body stays most well is to be able to actually receive the communications from our emotions, from our body, and hear what thoughts are stirring us up, because only then can we do the appropriate diagnosis for what is best going to help us be well. So let us try this together. I'd like you to find a comfortable posture. You can do the stop, breathe, connect practice standing, sitting, lying down, and maybe you could do it walking from room to room. So the stopping part isn't necessarily physically stopping if you cannot do that. It's the sense of giving yourself permission and space to be here now. On an in breath, if you're able to allow your eyes to close or lower and soften your gaze, you might find that with all of these practices, if available, a way to help you tune in to the subtlety of what it is that we're going to be exploring. So, checking in with finding a comfortable posture, and on an in breath, have the sense that you've given yourself permission to stop, even just for a moment. When we say breathe, I'm going to assume you're already breathing, unless you're not actually a biological life form. So when I say breathe, I mean, can you feel the breath? Why? Because the breath is only felt in the present moment. How handy. So breathing in, we feel the belly rise, lungs expand, chest rises, tracking the sensations of the breath, only happening in the present. On and out breath, letting the shoulders drop away from your ears. And connecting, beginning with offering your body some gratitude for all that it's managing. And just take a moment to feel whatever is here. Breathing and connecting. Maybe exhaustion is noticed, sadness, busyness. Can that all be okay? Because that's what's here right now. Just feel it as best you can. Connect. And on an out breath, letting go of this brief stop, breathe, connect practice. And please take a moment to notice how you feel. Sometimes we think we don't have time to stop and be with ourselves, but often that is the best way to offer ourselves the potential for resilience. Stop, breathe, connect. Thank you. The next practice is one that is only for those of you who consider yourself to be biological life forms. So if you're not a biological life form, feel free to leave the room at this time. One of the things that I find most interesting in my practice as a therapist, especially if I'm dealing with other healthcare providers, is how often we have the ability to manage other people's well-being, but forget about the very pithy, essential needs of any human being in order for us to be well. Without these four things that I'm going to explain to you in a moment, there's absolutely no way for us to find wellness. This practice is handily called Halt. You may have heard of it already. The Halt stands for, ready? Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. When we don't eat, as obvious as this is, our blood sugar drops and it's really difficult for us to manage our mood. We may try to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps, but it is not going to work. It can be very handy to do a check-in that helps you remember, when was the last time I ate? Ah, right. Just as a way to help your body manage all of the stress. Angry. Angry doesn't only mean you feel angry. It means any strong emotion that you find yourself in the grips of. With mindful practice, we're never trying to push anything away because you'll notice that that only makes it brings up resistance to what's here already and often makes it bigger. So we may want to try to manage our difficult emotions by pushing them down, but actually all emotions are here as a communication for us to notice a boundary has been crossed or some other event. So we want to just be able to honor ourselves by noticing which emotions are here. If we feel anger is here, it's helpful to notice, because also if our interactions with one another start with strong emotions that may have come from another experience just prior to our interactions, we may unintentionally, without checking in first with ourselves, unintentionally bring those strong emotions into our interactions, causing confusion all around. So noticing hunger, anger, lonely, even if you are surrounded by 1,000 people who tell you that they love you, that does not mean that you might not also feel all alone in whatever it is that you're facing right now. Especially for those of us in healthcare, it's really challenging sometimes to help other people understand just how much stress there is in trying to help other people stay alive. So noticing and honoring this sense that maybe all we can do is just say, a moment of suffering is here, allowing ourselves to acknowledge that we feel a sense of loneliness. We may not even be able to change that, except when we make ourselves our own best friend, then suddenly that feeling of loneliness feels a little less lonely because we are in our own corner. And T stands for tired. We live in an underslept world. And when we are tired, it really becomes difficult to make good decisions. So, noticing at a practical level and having as a checklist, am I hungry, angry, lonely, tired, will help you manage other interactions in a more wise and well way. The third mighty mini intervention. See how short these are? That was my intention, by the way, was to try to offer you some practices that really could help you if you only have just a moment to check in. The third one is called calm, and we'll take a couple of more minutes with this one. Mindfulness loves acronyms. Healthcare loves acronyms. Peanut butter, chocolate, perfect. Put them together. So acronyms, this one stands for chest, arms, legs, and mind. If you have a background in mental health, you may already know that often our thoughts are the biggest culprits in causing us dis-ease. When we can decenter off of our thought machine that generates something like 180,000 thoughts a day, something like that, when we can decenter off of that, even just this action of being able to steal some of the attention that has been feeding our worried, frantic, catastrophic thinking, even just stealing some of that attention away for a few moments can be enough to help us feel more resilient. So let's do this practice together. The intention here, and intention is an important word with all of this. When we're really busy, intention is what helps us program what direction we're heading in. Otherwise, we're scattershot. My intention right now is to be present to this practice. So when my list making, planning, I could clean out the garage, all those thoughts come in, fantastic. But maybe for now, you could just notice, yeah, that's what I'm going to steal from. I'm not going to be focusing on my thoughts. I'm actually going to bring all of that attention and place it on this practice as best that I can, even just for a couple of minutes. So in the calm practice, we're going to be focusing particularly, especially in the chest, arms, and legs, on sensations that we feel in the body. What is a sensation, you might ask? Well, when we're talking about sensations in this regard, we're talking about noticing the most minute variations of feeling that might show up in your body. So let's, as an example, Pain, that idea, oh, what are you feeling? And you're like, pain. Well, pain is actually an aggregate of many sensations. And pain also has a little storyline involved in it. Oh, I'm in pain. Often, when we can dissemble that to its smaller pieces known as sensations, and when we call them sensations, can be things like heat, coolness, tingling, throbbing, pulsing, itchy, restless. We're not judging or trying to change any of these sensations. We're kind of doing a reconnaissance mission. We're just going in, noticing what's there. It's not our job to do anything with that information except really take it in. So, with that, I invite you again, you don't have to do these practices with your eyes closed, but especially if you're just learning them, you might find it helpful to close your eyes or maybe look towards your cheekbones with a soft and unfocused gaze. Or not, up to you. On an in breath, can you feel the breath as it moves in and out of the body? Beginning by anchoring in the breath can, again, as I said, help anchor us in the present moment. So breathing in and feeling it. On and out breath, letting the shoulders drop away from the ears. Taking a couple of moments just to feel yourself breathing. And if you notice yourself moving into thought, go, hey, I just noticed that, and then come back to feeling. And on the next in breath, can you bring your attention to your chest or chestal area? And can you notice any sensations you might feel in this part of the body? Let's call it the torso. Anything in the torso. You might notice something as ordinary as when you breathe in, is there a kind of tight band around your chest? Or maybe you can feel the beating of your heart. So noticing any sensations, you're bringing the attitude of gentle curiosity. Ooh, what's that? Noticing any sensations and naming them and feeling them in the chest and chestal area. Sensations in the chest. Back. On an out breath, letting go of this focused attention on sensations in the chest, and on an in breath, bring your attention to your fingers, hands, and arms. What sensations do you notice here? Is there tingling in your fingertips? Are your knuckles and joints tight or loose? Are your palms moist or dry? Checking in with wrists, elbows, biceps, and triceps. What do you notice? Pulsing, numbness. Maybe there are neutral sensations, and that's good to notice. Everything's okay. Nothing special to notice. And on an out breath, letting go of this brief encounter with fingers, hands, and arms. And on an in breath, bringing your attention down the body to the toes, the feet, the legs. Even noticing restlessness, heat, icy, tight. Welcoming whatever is noticed as best you can. It's already here. Let yourself feel it if you're able. sensations in legs and feet. Maybe you notice your thighs pressing against the chair you're sitting. And on an out breath, letting go of this brief exploration of legs and feet. And on an in breath, shift your attention up to your mind. What? Can you notice what is your mind state right now without judging it or trying to fix or change it? Is it busy, sleepy, sluggish? Is it caffeinated? Maybe it's calm, peaceful. We're simply trying to encounter how things are. What do you notice about how your mind is right now? And on an out breath, letting go of this calm practice and taking a moment to simply notice. And now, how are things? Always important to take that moment, even if it's only 5 seconds, to feel after we practice, what do I notice? What am I feeling? Including numb or neutral. Thank you. This next practice I think is so helpful for us in healthcare because it's called WWW. What went well? Our whole career is kind of based on trying to be able to notice what's not going well. In fact, what's wrong. That's how we diagnose. But the challenge is our brain is already a threat seeking missile. So, as part of the fight, as part of what keeps us alive, the brain is constantly there scanning for threat. It's just the way it is. So, in fact, what we need to do in order to counterbalance the propensity overbalancing of the negative, which has, as you can probably feel yourself, when your whole world is blotted out by the negative, and what happens is you start to even move into cognitive bias. We go, oh, you see, there's proof, more evidence. There it is. Oh, things are horrible, really horrible. I'm not trying to say that things are not very, very challenging. But part of what we're trying to learn here is a way to induce these wonderful happiness chemicals to come forth and help us is to notice that as horrible as things are, there are actually many, 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 many things throughout our days that are actually okay. Noticing the neutral, noticing what's okay, noticing what went well is a very helpful way for us to balance off a day spent focusing on the negative. So, what went well? I didn't spill my coffee today. Amazing. What went well? I was able to ride the subway today and people didn't come right up into my face. Fabulous. Sometimes it's a really, or I maybe somebody smiled at you, and even if they had a mask on, you could see the smile in their eyes. Sometimes what went well can be a very, very small thing. And I find, in fact, I don't know if you ever saw the movie American Beauty, but I remember there was a moment at the very end of that movie with a paper bag that was garbage that was just floating around. And I remember experiencing that as one of the most wondrous things I'd ever seen on screen. And it reminded me that what went well, what's beautiful, what's okay, can be absolutely anything. Could be the blue sky, it could be a breeze. What went well? Maybe there were patients that actually were well served by you today. Remember, it's important for you to also focus on what went well to help you maintain or encourage a sense of resilience. Otherwise, every day you're focusing on the negative. I hope that makes sense. The next practice is actually one of my favorite practices. And by interesting coincidence, I was looking at my friend Marta Chavez, who she's a comedian, and she had posted this wonderful video of her Nana doing chair dancing. So I'd like you to just this one. Chair dancing is what I do when I really feel beaten down. If I have just had a difficult encounter of some kind, and even maybe I have just a few seconds in between, a little bit of chair dancing can do wonders to lift my mood. Now, this one is particularly hilarious. This one, another one I'm going to show you. This will be really fun for your pets who are watching you going, so find a comfortable way to do this. And if you're lying down in bed, that's fine. Do it in bed. You could invoke a soundtrack in your head. Body ready? What are we doing? Life is difficult, but I'm going to do some chair dancing. And you might think this is ridiculous, but just know this. How it makes you feel to rock out a little bit in the middle of a horrible day. You are suddenly a Broadway star, or maybe a punker, who knows, or voguing. Chair dancing as a way to feel amazing. Okay. So this is probably the moment where you're wondering, is my goldfish judging me right now for seeing these chair dancing? And if so, the next practice is just mwah, perfect. Mindful self-compassion. It's been a very challenging time for many of us. And often the one who suffers the most is the one we call I, me. Why is that? Because particularly for those of us in healthcare, we have been well trained to care for others. We've been well trained to sacrifice, to work double shifts, to extend ourselves beyond. That is the essence for many people of what they recognize they signed on for to have a life in healthcare. However, to quote an oft used image, we really truly do need to be able to put the um, oxygen mask on ourselves first before we seek to help anyone else. Because hopefully all of these practices are starting to help you notice that the part of the intention here, what would we do if we feel lonely? Part of the intention for all of these practices is to find a way to become our own best friend. A best friend is somebody who doesn't judge you. A best friend is somebody who cares for you no matter what. I'm inviting you to look at this mindful self-compassion practice partially as being your own best friend, but also I want to say about mindful self-compassion for healthcare providers, it's often a difficult one because, and for most people actually interesting, mindful self-compassion can be really challenging because secretly we either just don't feel we're worthy of it, or we don't really know if we believe that it does anything worthwhile. We think it's kind of corny. So I would invite you, if you're willing, to explore this practice with me, to simply treat it as an experiment. Explore it. You don't have to believe anything I'm saying. We're entering this together with all of these practices with the intention to notice, how do I feel? Is this helpful? Did this give me a little bit of space to be able to help me deal with the maelstrom that's coming my way? So, with the mindful self-compassion practice, again, I invite you to find a comfortable posture, lying, sitting, standing, whatever you would like, whatever you favor, astronaut pose, upside down. And I mentioned the happiness chemicals, and I would like to invite you to experiment now with If you wish, placing a hand somewhere comforting on your own body. For some, it might be the upper chest area, sometimes known as the over the heart area. But it could also be a hand to the cheek, maybe placing one hand in the other hand on a leg. The idea here is you are intentionally making physical contact with yourself if you're willing to experiment. So allowing your eyes to close or lowering and softening your gaze, taking a moment to feel what you notice with this warm contact you've just made with your hopefully best friend. Often, this is how we induce oxytocin to move through the body. This sense of bonding with ourselves, of warm connection, positive, uplifted. Just feel it for a moment. Now, I would like to invite you to bring the image of a blazing sun, S-U-N, blazing, shining sun into your so called heart center, whatever that means for you, your awareness, as if you've actually kindled a sun inside your chest, shining, beaming, unstoppable, amazing force of heat and light, and into this shining, resplendent space. I invite you to bring an image of your dear self at any age. Could be now, or could be you as a child. And I'm going to invoke intention, which is like setting the direction that we're heading in. That's what an intention is. And I'm going to offer you some words of intention that I invite you to offer yourself, or please feel free to change these words in any way you wish. Feeling the warm contact of your own hand. May I be happy. May I welcome peace, even as things are challenging. May I feel appreciated, welcomed, honored, loved. May I know that I belong to the wind and the trees and the earth and the seas. May I be kind to myself. And may I live in peace and ease, exactly as life is right now. And my dears, if you're willing, into that beautiful sun, shining sun, I invite you to bring the image of another dear person, pet, piece of vegetation. Bring anything in that you would like to offer words of well being, loving intention, and picturing this person, this being, this entity. May you be happy, dear one. May you be safe in body and in mind. May you feel welcome and know that you belong. May you feel cherished. May you live in peace and ease, exactly as things are right now. And my lovely dears, if you're willing, opening up so wide to include all beings, all beings. If you're willing, sending these words of intention out, knowing that we are all in this together and must find our way together. May we all be happy. May we all be safe in body and in mind. May we all know that we belong here. This is our home. May we feel all of us connected to the sun and the sea, the earth and the trees, the breeze. May we all live peace and ease. Sending these intentions out as though we are the sun, radiating out these loving intentions for the well-being of all. And taking one more mindful breath together, and that means breathing in awareness. And taking a moment to notice how you feel now. What do you notice? How do you feel? In my work, sometimes people will come up to me and they'll say, "Oh, you're into awareness, aren't you?" Because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about all of these practices about awareness. You're into awareness. And sometimes I'll put my quote, "You're into awareness." Like it's some hippie thing, awareness. Say, yes, I am. What are you into? Unawareness? Oh, yeah. Unawareness is so hip. Okay, my friends, the final practice that I would like to offer you Also, one of my personal favorites. You can hear I have a very squeaky chair. Also, one of my personal favorites, just because life is happening in a very ordinary way. And this one is called Aloha Laughter Yoga. And this one is another delightful one, and it's a play on the Hawaiian word aloha. I'm going to demonstrate this one first, and if the chair dancing didn't freak your pets out or your children or whoever's around, I promise you this one will for sure. Okay, so aloha laughter yogurt. Yogurt. Aloha laughter yogurt. Yum, yum. Aloha laughter yoga. So, of course, it's helpful for us to notice that laughter is not just good if you can get it. Laughter is incredibly helpful to help us build resilience. It releases a lot of those four quartet chemicals, and also it works on our heart, our lungs, our muscles, our thoughts, our behaviors. It helps with fibromyalgia. It helps with insomnia. Laughter, well, it's pretty good medicine. So, and the amazing thing about laughter, so we salute you, laughter. The amazing thing about laughter is you don't even have to really have something funny to laugh at. We can actually induce laughter as a experience, and the amazing thing is the body will still release the same uh, endorphins. It's just amazing. So, but hey, don't believe me, let's give it a try. So, like I said, first I'm going to show you what it is, and then I'm going to encourage, and then we'll do it together 3 times if you're willing. Okay. So it's built on the word aloha, and we're going to go down. So the yoga part is like letting your head be heavy, and you're going to go down, let your body drop. Just whatever is manageable for you. Please don't do more than you can. Always self-care. So you're going to go down like that. It's going to be, and the vocal part of it, so the body part is this. You're going down, whatever vertebrae by vertebrae, and letting yourself just hang. And then you're going to come up like this. And the vocal is, ready? So watch me, and then we'll do it 3 times together. Okay, let's try that together. Okay, you ready? Okay, and one more time. Okay. All right. So what did you notice? What did you notice? And what I'd like you to do, because maybe you were like, I ain't doing that. But if you did do it, I'd like you to check in and notice, how do you feel now? Did that, in fact, even if you're a very serious person, and I've had people say to me, I came in here and I was not laughing. Just notice, do you feel a little bit of uplift? Do you feel a little bit of juice that wasn't there before? And sometimes inducing something like laughter can be so helpful, especially if you want to freak your colleagues out. Ah, my gosh. Okay, my friends, 7 mighty mini practices to help you stay smiling when everything is falling apart. And what they are again is number one, stop in the midst of stop, breathe, intentionally feeling the breath and connecting with the body, the thoughts, the emotions, and whatever you're feeling. Stop, breathe, connect. Number one. Two, the halt practice. Checking in. Am I hungry, angry, lonely, tired? So now I have a sense of where my starting space is from, and I can more carefully manage how to best proceed, recognizing my true starting spot. Number three, the calm practice, a physical check in with the sensations you noticed in the chest or chestal area, right in the torso, chest, arms, including fingers and wrists, legs, including toes, feet, and ankles, and mind state. Where am I at right now? Calm practice. WWW. What went well? Things are horrible, but what went well? They delivered napkins today. Amazing. What went well? Whatever it is, notice how important it is to also take some time to do a little list every day of what is going well. Otherwise, you will overfocus on the negative unintentionally. Number 6, chair dancing. Number 7, mindful self-compassion as a way for us to be well and also send our amazing, loving hearts out into the world. And aloha laughter yoga. Okay, my friends. Well, thank you so much for offering me your very precious attention. We are in a time when so many things are outside of our control, and I'm not in any way suggesting glibly that we can just ride over top of it with a laugh or a smile. That has nothing to do with why we would want to turn towards the positive, towards more fun, towards something lively, whatever it is that helps us bring on oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins. These are the feel good chemicals that will help you stay well, even when things are not so well. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Elaine. That was amazing. I did not expect to be doing dancing in my chair today or aloha laughter yoga. And I'm very glad that I have no pets, no children, and my spouse was at work. But that was incredible. I can see myself using every one of those practices when the feeling of chaos is threatening to overtake me. So thank you so, so much for sharing your time and your beautiful heart and your sense of humor with us today. Such a pleasure always.
Thank you so much. And my heartfelt wish to everyone that we might all take care of ourselves and each other. These are unprecedented times, but they're also amazing times. Let's find a way to help each other. Healing healthcare, staying well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elaine. If you would like to learn more about Elaine or read some of her incredible writing, you can find a lot of it at mindful.org and in the pages of Mindful Magazine. Um, I want to let you know that you can find a lot of courses that you can do at your own pace, led by expert mindfulness teachers at learning.mindful.org. And if you would, before you leave, rate this session. You'll find a little rate session button below your video in Whova. It just takes a minute, and we really appreciate your input. We were so glad to have you with us today. We hope you enjoy the rest of the sessions and that you are able to find a little space to let your own wisdom arise to best take care of yourself. Thank you so much. And thank you, Elaine.
Thank you so much. Be well, my friends. Bye for now.